Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. You are tuning in to episode number 299. And I have a little bit of a unique episode for you today. I'm actually going to be sharing with you a little clip from our Confidence to Scale live Q&A session. I'm actually just finishing it up now and wanted to make sure that you had access to the recap here, to get a little bit of, just inside conversation between Krista and I. Krista, if you don't know Krista, she is our Senior Strategic Growth Advisor here at KLC and works with many of our clients inside of our Pop Leadership Academy and other programs. And we had a chat about what's happening in CTS Live coming up in January. If you are new here or have been living under a rock and are like, what the heck is CTS Live? You will find out. Essentially, it is our brand new version of our old 6-week Confidence to Scale certification program where we help female founders crossing their next $1 million milestone transition from an overworked injector to a confident, bossed up CEO. And essentially, if you're like, that sounds like amazing, but what's in it for me? Why should I join? We are going to be meeting live for 2 days in Manhattan Beach, California, January 9th and 10th. We're going to build out, customize annual blueprints for you. You're going to learn some of our key tools and concepts and curriculum that sets the foundation for scaling your business past your next $1 million milestone. And you are going to have access to personalized coaching and accountability for the next 90 days. So if you're someone that is, fits the mold, you're like, yes, that is me, but what? I don't know. I'm not sure. I will just say this. If you are ready for your business to run on systems and not stress, you are ready to delegate confidently and lead without guilt. You want to be clear on your direction and provide clarity to your team and what results look like. You're finally ready to work on your business and not be trapped in it. This is for you. This is a proven philosophy for sustainable life first growth. And we want to help you build a business that pours generously into your health, wealth, impact, and freedom. So you can have a listen here to a little bit of our conversation about CTS Live and what we're really excited about. And I highly encourage you, whether you're interested in this program or you're just curious or, ready to take that leap to honestly, free yourself, to feel lighter, to feel deep fulfillment and rest in your business and have a business that continues to grow steadily and sustainably without requiring more of your hard-earned effort and hustle, and to work more on strategy, then set up a call with us. I'll attach the link in the show notes for you. And you can always send me a DM on Instagram. But we're super excited for this program and excited to share more of what we're excited about with you. So without further ado, please enjoy. Hi there. Welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, hello. Welcome. Very excited to join you here, everybody who's here live and in the chats and also in the replays of this info session for Confidence to Scale Live. I want to say happy holidays. I wore my bright yellow just to spring and summer it up for y'all. And here today with some members of the KLC team, our leadership team and coaching team as well. And we are here to answer any questions. So the way that this will go down while we're live, I'm going to walk through a brief presentation about the idea behind Confidence to Scale, why we created this program. We're going to talk about what to expect while you are in Manhattan Beach for the program for the 2 days, and then what that entails from a coaching standpoint going forward. So, Krista, what are you most excited about?
I think for me, I'm just excited to see the transformation that will indefinitely happen when people begin to take the time to work on their business and actually start creating systems and come up with a strategic plan for them to get out of the overwhelm, out of the treatment room, and actually make strategic moves. I mean, we've run this program before, and it is by far one of the most transformational that we've ever done, because it gets someone in the stage of overwhelm that we know they're in and everyone comes to us for, and it gives them that blueprint. And it gives them permission to create boundaries. It gives them a real strategic plan. It helps them with how they're going to prioritize their crazy laundry list of things to do. So I'm most excited for the transformations. And as a coach, like, to be able to work with those women, like, one-on-one is just it's so nice, because I get to, be a part of the group and then teach, but then also take those lessons and customize it for my client for whatever they need. So I think that's why CTS Live is such a special program, because you get the group sessions, the curriculum, and the customized coaching. So I think, all of those powers combined create that transformation that people really need.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question, just even having the experience of running alt this year and being in person is, I think, going to be a huge move next year in 2026. And I think being able to kick off with, this program that has been by far and large, the catalyst for so many women to finally make that empowered move to getting out of this overwhelming space of, am I doing it right? And I think, like, my heart goes out to people who feel like, I'm not that good at business, or I must not be a great leader, or shall I even continue to grow? And if I grow, then will I have to sacrifice and compromise the priorities that are so near and dear to me? And I think that we've conflated this idea of, like, purpose in the world. And so many people all of a sudden, like, our business is supposed to be the thing that we do every day, every minute, all of the time. And, I think that we get to a place, and I can speak for myself as, an entrepreneur who's been building this company for 10 years. I have moments where I have questioned and doubted, why do I invest and put so much into this? And also, if it is my passion and I love it so much, how come I feel so exhausted and conflicted around my growth strategy, And then I think that's where that sort of, like, spiral of questioning comes in. Where am I making the right move? What's the right tactic? And then you start asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And, you start to outsource your confidence. And I think that what is truly misunderstood about scaling, one is, the difference between what growth and scale is, right? Growth is, things are getting bigger, we're growing more, and growth is good. It's not a bad thing, but generally speaking, that represents a growth in revenue. But what comes with growth is also the growth of the investment in what it takes to grow that revenue, which is more money, more time, more team members, more headaches. Essentially, growth creates more of everything. And if you have complexity in your business and fissures or cracks in your foundation, they're only going to get bigger. And the difference is when you have a strategic plan that we use the saying transitioning from provider to CEO, because essentially it's a complete mindset shift, and it requires you to have the confidence to scale, which is a different type of growth. Scale is a type of growth that requires more. It allows you to create more of what you want, make more money, make more impact, but you're using it with the same amount of resources. So it's a disproportionate growth in revenue compared to how much investment that you have to put into for that revenue to grow. So the big question is, how do you do it? And why is your confidence so important to that process? Well, when we look at a service-based business, most of the women we work with have built the business because they were probably trying to get away from something else, which was being in a rat race in corporate somewhere, working in a hospital, working for somebody who was like, yeah, go ahead, you do your thing, you're amazing, but do it this way, right? Or how many women, Krista, have we talked to that will say, I worked for somebody who it was all about the numbers. Everything was about, you have 40 patients a day. Like I literally had so much constraint around the type of work that I could do. So I wanted to do it my way. I wanted to have autonomy. I wanted to have freedom. I wanted to do it better. And I wanted to do it on my own damn time. And then what happens is, this freedom that you seek out, this autonomy that is ensued through the process of creating this independence becomes this trap. It becomes all of a sudden the thing that you're like, oh yeah, I built this business because I wanted something else. And now not only do I have that something else, but now it is what's consuming me because I am responsible for all of it. And then to think of growth in that place, that's where I have found for the most part, as much as you want to grow, it's very difficult to grow something that you're not energetically behind as a founder. And when you have that little thing in the back of your head that is telling you, hey, Kaylee, that's fine. Like, yes, there's this opportunity, but if you do, tap, like if you get much bigger, then what happens to you? Is there more of you to stretch out to, you're going to be stretched completely thin and you're not going to be able to do it well, or you're going to have to, if you hire more people, you're going to compromise the standard of care and excellence that you're able to provide to your patients because you have to spend all this time diluting your energy through other people who aren't going to do it as well as you. And then we see this boomerang back, right? Where all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going to take the leap. Someone told me, okay, I know I need to hire somebody. And then we go and we hire and we start building the team. And then all of a sudden we start seeing this kind of like mini earthquake underneath our feet happening where we're like, wait, that's not how I want it done. That doesn't seem right. They're not following that system correctly. And we start freaking out. And then what do? We go back. I know who can do it better.
Yep.
Right. And so then we go back and we rescue and save the day. And instead of taking the time to train and develop somebody, it's like, I'll just do it myself. Right. And so, it really takes this complete shift in approach to understanding how to scale your business. And that's why I think is not being taught, certainly in our industry. And I think truly for women in business today, we're at an incredible inflection point and I think just a turning point in trailblazers as women building businesses. Domestic and societal roles are shifting. Our responsibilities, as in many cases of the women we work with, their mothers. They are, truly, we all have adult ADHD now. There's tabs open in everybody's brain that we can't close. To have to handle and juggle all of those things. And then to also be responsible and required energetically to continue building something of magnitude just sounds and feels completely exhausting. And so on top of that, we usually build our business. I know I did because of the relationships that I loved, like the closeness, the intimacy that I get to have with the people that I get to serve every day, and to have to now be somebody who's focusing on building the business and not getting to do my craft as much. Like there's that sort of energetic piece where that sense of fulfillment, you really have to figure out like, okay, what do I want here? Do I want to build something that allows me and gives me the freedom to be able to be with my patients and my clients, right? And for me, in my case, it was to coach as much as I want, but where I knew that all of that business was taken care of in the way that my business could deliver a level of excellence. It starts with leadership, and it starts with learning how to show up and for the business and for the people in the business in a completely different way.
I really also, just to echo that, I feel like the identity shift that you're talking about is often the work that you have to do within yourself as a leader to make that shift. Because the truth is, you can get all the business tools anywhere out there. And the real work comes from that strategic reflection in order to redirect your energy into the real needle moving activities for a CEO. And I think that's often the hardest, most challenging shift that we've been able to kind of handhold people through in CTS Live. And I think that's really the most fundamental part of it, is that the energy that it took for you to get to where you are is not the same energy that's required of you to get to that next step. It's no longer about the hustle, because to your point, Kaylee, there isn't enough of you. You cannot stretch, like you will pop. Like that's what happens when you push a balloon to its, fullest capacity, it pops. So we're trying to avoid the popping. So what do? We have to redistribute. We have to redistribute some of that air to other things, to systems, to people, to a shift in, where we get our feelings of achievement, away from in the treatment room to now I'm working on my business and I'm training the best star employees to do that job for me. And now I'm going to find a sense of pride in them, which again is like a whole identity shift that I think it really does require a lot of reflection. And it's not just about the tools out there for business. It's about how do we integrate them gracefully into ourselves as an identity, but into also our business and our systems.
Yeah. So I'll ask, and by the way, anybody who's here on the live joining us, listening in, you're welcome to pop questions in the chat, and we'll talk through those, and or we can even pop a link in here too if you want to set up a call to talk to us privately as well. So Krista, I want to ask you, what are some of those signs? So we talk about that, like, oh, I'm about to pop or whatever. Like when someone comes to you and you're sort of, you're talking to them and, getting to know their goals and understanding more about what their bottlenecks are, or what are the things that are preventing them from scaling their business. What are some of those signs that are indicators that they're at this inflection point where there's this strategic transition that needs to happen?
Yeah. So it's different for everyone, those signs, but some common ones are they're just at a point of exhaustion. Like that's the most obvious one. They're just tired. They have no time for themselves. They have no time for their families. They are literally doing everything in the business. We use the analogy of the octopus with 8 arms, wearing all the hats. If that's you, that's most likely a sign that it's time to make a shift and begin doing the real work needed in order to scale your business. That's one thing. Another thing I hear a lot is, I just don't have enough clients. There's just not enough people coming through the door. And while that might be true for a newer business, sometimes we're not looking strategically within the business to really figure out what we're doing with the customers we do have and fully optimizing them. So that's another sign when people are like, oh, I just need more marketing. I need to throw more money at marketing. Sometimes that's a sign, not all the time, but sometimes that's another sign.
Sorry to cut you off, but isn't it interesting how we hear that? Like, I'm so exhausted, I can't possibly do one more thing in my life, and I need more. Right. And it's this weird, and I've totally been there. And it's sort of like, intellectually, I know that doesn't make sense. But I think we think that will solve, right? Like, okay, if I can get enough, or I can fill my provider schedule, or I get enough to do, and I think that's where I see a huge problem is expanding too soon. Hiring way too soon or not soon enough.
Right.
Right. And I think that that feeling of, I think to your point of like, I feel exhausted, I need more is a really incredible sign of and one of the main concepts that we cover in Confidence to Scale, which is about understanding your most valuable buyers and the Pareto principle, and how there are 20% of your customers produce 80% of your results. So if you learn how to elevate your marketing to speak to a higher level clientele, to increase the value per patient that comes into your practice, and you learn how to put these systems in, starting with brand positioning, where you position your practice within your marketplace. But some of it's just confidence. Like, I'm afraid if I raise my prices, my patients won't come back, or things like, oh, but my marketplace is too small. And, we just shared a story about Heidi Hermel in our last masterclass, who is in Mankato, Minnesota, with 40,000 people, and, building an 8-figure business. And it wasn't always like that. And you wouldn't think, but people drive in from other states, and many of our clients in our academy are in very rural areas, right? And the market is growing and expanding. And with I think the just integration of now the $1.4 trillion wellness industry, it's a shift, right? The market is shifting, and there's so much more opportunity. And I think that can also feel overwhelming, at times, where it's like, I've got so much, I don't even know which step to take next, where to go next. And so I think part of, to your point of having a plan, is a critical part of knowing to not get off track because there's a shiny object, on the way to getting there. Yeah.
And I think also, speaking to this idea of not having enough, I think that sometimes we run our business from that scarcity mindset, from I don't have enough customers, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough this, I don't have enough that. And that never leads us in the direction we need to go when it comes to scaling our business. So I think also the shift of not having enough to, let me look at what I do have and let me fully optimize myself, my time, my resources to strategically scale my business, as opposed to leading from a place of fear and scarcity and all of that. So yeah. I also think it's easy to get distracted when you feel like scarcity. That's when we see the shiniest things. That's when we think those are the magic bullets that are going to save us, when we see the shiny things, when we're in that scarcity mindset. So I think it's really all connected.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Okay. So I'm seeing some stuff in the chat. I don't have enough time. We all, yeah.
Hear that.
We all have the same amount of time of hours in the day. How can you better set yourself to use your time to benefit? Yeah. So I think that's part of it too, right? It's like, when you have a million things on your to-do list, like, how do you know what to get to first? And I think so much of that is about this transition from, I am the operator and I have to manage the to-do list, from that space to, I am building the team to run and grow this business. And it's just a transition that is that putting on that CEO hat to say that my job here is to lead this company in a way in which I am an energetically abundant resource for the company. I'm a decision maker. I'm a leader. I'm a visionary. I get to set the strategic vision. And so many women lose their creativity, like it's just feeling so trapped and bogged down by like, now I've built this machine and I don't even know, like if I stepped off this hamster wheel, everything would fall apart and everything is relying on me to keep it running. And so it feels like it's impossible to step back and just allow the business to breathe and to independently run. And I think that when to say I don't have enough time, yeah, operating the way that you're currently operating, you don't have enough time. And that's essentially where we're going to help you, teach you how to prioritize. We're going to teach you how to understand what are the major levers that will move the needle in the right direction for you and your business, and what can be a later thing, what can be automated, what can be delegated, what can be eliminated from your to-do list. And I think one of the exercises I'm excited to do is just work with our CEOs to write their own job descriptions.
Yeah.
For them to say, oh, this is what I should be doing, to create a filter that they can use when they go back to their practice every day, to communicate to their team, this is my job, this is your job, this is what results look like, this is where we're headed, and to take a big snapshot of what that 2026 goal is and reverse engineer it back in a way that they can very elegantly communicate it to each team member and feel really confident about the plan, so that they don't have to go seeking out. It's, those fire drills, like what marketing campaign are we running this week? What promotion this month? Like, it happens all the time, right? So it's like taking the time, allowing yourself the gift of time to set that strategic vision, to plan, and then to create a system in your practice where everybody's operating on the same operating system, right? And it's like, what's the saying? Like, everyone in the orchestra can play a different instrument, but they need to be on the same tune, playing on the same tune, right? And so that's the idea, is everybody is collectively playing, but working toward one common goal, instead of like, I feel like I'm the one that's, I have all the things in my head and I'm corralling everybody to make sure that each piece gets put into place in the right order so that we actually get things done. And I can speak for, where I've been before too, is, I'll lay down at night and all of a sudden, like, where I'm like, okay, finally time to rest. And then, oh, no, Kaylee, wakey. It's time for your brain to just go on checklist bonanza. And then not only can I not sleep, but then I'm maniac texting my team and like blowing the Slack up, like, and so I know, why are you guys laughing? I don't do that. And like, we've got a lot on our plate, ladies, like we got a lot on our plate. So, I'm excited, to be able to bring this program, back to the world in a way that I don't think could be more impactful than having 2 days together live in Manhattan Beach, and then spending 90 days of, now we've got a real plan together. We've got context around what needs to happen for me to show up as the leader I need to be. We know exactly what our team should be doing, who we need to hire, how we need to go about the hiring process. And I know exactly how and who is going to help hold me accountable and give me the personalized coaching and support to get there. So excited about that. Just final checks on the chat. I'll do, oh yes. So it says, I'll do it when XYZ happens. Yes, the joke of that we continually tell ourselves is that when this happens, then, right? And I think we're all waiting for like the big breakthrough to happen, or we're waiting for us to feel like we have more time so that we can then implement. And the ironic thing about time, it's just like growing muscle. It's like going to the gym to say, I'll go to the gym when I get fit, right? It's the same thing to say, I'll do this program when I have more time. You get fit by lifting the weights, and then you get stronger, and then you lift heavier weights, and then you lift heavier weights, right? So you have to actually, it's a weird contradictory thing, but it's action and motion that creates the impact. So it's actually taking and making the time to do it, to learn how to create more space, prioritization, and time in your life. And, we have endless amounts of testimonials and proof and results from real women who have been right there and have said these exact things. I mean, I've had women be like, Kaylee, I'm just going to trust you. But I don't believe in one bit of this. And they will trust the process and then come back and say, I wish I had done it sooner. I cannot believe how different my life is today because I put boundaries up. I no longer say yes to everything. I got support at home. I've invested in the infrastructure I need. I've eliminated that drama employee that is toxicity to the entire team. I hired that person I was totally nervous to hire. I didn't think I could afford, but now our business is cranking. We're making money. And even what yesterday Stacy said to us, She said, our business is mellower than ever and making more money than ever. And it feels weird. It feels weird. Like it feels slow because I'm not a maniac. And that's why I put out the blueprint this week about like, our comfort zone truly being sometimes just cray cray. And we got to step out of that. Yep. And it's a whole different mindset shift. And so we're really excited to share that blueprint with everybody. So we will re-share this conversation for anybody that needs to catch up with it later. And if you're catching this in the replay and you have specific questions about the program, please jump on a private call with us so we can talk to you. And if it's not this program or you can't make it or whatever, we are not going anywhere. We got something in your flavor for sure. Or we can get you pointed in the right direction and, help get you prepared for when it is the right time for work with us and for us to be able to support you in accomplishing your goals. But I will assure you that there isn't one challenge that you have that I haven't dealt with before, that I haven't coached through before. You're probably not as alone and as much of an anomaly as you think. And being around other women who, I'm talking say crazy things like crazy. So if you think you're crazy, someone's probably going to beat you. Yeah. We're there. It's like this entrepreneurial crazy.
We always see it.
Yeah, we see it. We do. So I want to thank everybody who was here attending tonight. Thank you for your questions. And we'll be so excited to see you all at Confidence to Scale Live and have a chat. Thank you. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling. And part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working across the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.